Now to another top story. Rudy Giuliani is under criminal investigation by the prosecution office that used to be run by Rudy Giuliani. It is a striking development, a story the New York Times broke late Friday night heading into the weekend.
Yet again, we have breaking news tonight. Yet again, it pertains to the president's lawyer and all-around sidekick, Rudy Giuliani. Tonight, the New York Times is reporting Rudy is under investigation by federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York, in effect, the Justice Department Manhattan office, where he himself once served as U.S. attorney.
The prosecutors in the Southern District are notoriously tough and independent, which Giuliani knows because, of course, as mentioned, he's one of the most famous alumni. He ran the office, stressing he would go after Wall Street and organized crime alike.
If you violate the law, whether it's insider trading or tax evasion or fraud or bribery, the overwhelming general rule is that you go to prison. This case charges more mafia bosses in one indictment than any ever before.
Let me tell you that I know about the crime that you have to deal with. I understand the fear that you have.
Well, the mayor really isn't a tough mayor on crime. The mayor opposes the death penalty.
So how did Giuliani go from prosecutor to potential suspect today? Well, the first part of the answer is he's done a lot in between these two phases of his life. Giuliani hasn't stepped into a courtroom in 30 years, but remains associated with that career because he invoked law and order to become a politician. He spent the better part of the last 3 decades dabbling in electoral activities and business adjacent to politics. Giuliani served as mayor, of course, but he also went on to try to elevate into national politics, including a string of dramatic convention speeches pushing everything from George Bush to Sarah Palin.
And it was here in 2001 in the same lower Manhattan that President George W. Bush stood amid the fallen towers of the World Trade Center. And he said to the barbaric terrorists who attacked us, "They will hear from us." I'm sorry that Barack Obama feels that her hometown isn't cosmopolitan enough. I'm sorry, Barack.
Now, by 2008, Giuliani could picture himself in the Oval Office, running for the GOP presidential nomination based mainly on his record as mayor, an unlikely profile for the Republican primary.
I'm running for president of the United States because I believe that this country needs strong, bold leadership. This is going to be a very different type of campaign. New technology gives one person the power to make a difference on a scale we could hardly imagine 20 or 30 years ago. That's why I hope you'll be coming back to our website.
But they didn't come back. Giuliani struggled to win over Republicans. He ran on moderate immigration policies. Remember this? Similar to what Obama would ultimately back.
Since you can't throw out all 12 million people, whether Governor Romney would like to do that or not, or anybody else would, you just can't do it. It's not physically possible to do. I would focus on the illegal immigrants that are here who have committed crimes. They should be given priority.
What an idea. It didn't work. Giuliani didn't win a single state, or actually, we checked, a single delegate. To put that in perspective, one of the most famous names in the race, who had high polling for that fame initially, finished with fewer delegates than Alan Keyes or Fred Thompson or Ron Paul. But Giuliani kept up the hunt. If he wasn't going to be president, he was eager to build inroads to the next Republican president, whoever it might be. In the heat of the 2016 primary, he was still hedging his bets on frontrunner Trump, telling the New York Times, "I don't consider myself an advisor. I've talked to Donald for 25 years, so I talked to him a lot anyway. I'm not sure who I'm going to endorse." And then when New York's primary hit, Giuliani was still playing coy. He said he would vote for Trump because he was better than Cruz and more realistic than Kasich, but stressed it wasn't actually a, quote, endorsement. And he disagreed with Trump's personal attacks on Senator Cruz's wife. But soon, Trump would get that Giuliani endorsement and embrace that, remember, this was back when Republicans like Cruz were still holding back.
Washington needs a complete turnaround, and Donald Trump is the agent of change, and he will be the leader of the change we need.
And when Trump won, Giuliani jumped right into this role he's now totally famous for. A Trump surrogate whose defenses are so bumbling, so illogical, they often sound more like confessions. And that didn't start with Ukraine or Russia. Remember, Giuliani jumped right into one of Trump's very first controversies in his first month in office, the travel ban.
When he first announced it, he said Muslim ban.
He called me up. He said, put a commission together. Show me the right way to do it legally. And what we did was we focused on, instead of religion, danger.
That would haunt them in court like so many other things Giuliani says. Now, he stayed out of the administration after that, but in the mix. We all remember, and I'm not going to play the clips of him dishing on Stormy Daniels, the Russia probe, Ukraine. But this Ukraine story has upended Giuliani and his client unlike any other issue. 2 Giuliani business associates indicted just last week. And it's not the first time, this is important, someone close to Giuliani has been indicted for actions in this murky gray area between politicking and business and, yes, alleged corruption. Giuliani's firm used to be called Giuliani Carrick, named after the police commissioner he appointed. They changed the name after Carrick was indicted several times and convicted on tax fraud and lying to federal officials. Another longtime business partner just left Giuliani's current company, saying it has nothing to do, however, with this scandal. And Giuliani admits he was pushing for a Biden probe in Ukraine, the very thing the House may impeach on. But after this story just broke Friday about him being under criminal investigation, he tells the New York Times whatever he did because he was, quote, representing the president and therefore shouldn't be prosecuted under these foreign lobbying laws. First, that sure sounds like the president's lawyer throwing him under the bus. Second, the president does have something of a get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to prosecutions while he's in office. We've all been talking about that, but it is not transferable to his lawyer. And Giuliani has long sought proximity to the White House, and in Trump, after this hesitation period, it looks like he found someone who viewed Giuliani's alleged shortcomings more like assets, perhaps because they have a few things in common. Think about this. The blatant mixing of government and business, right up to the line of indictment when it comes to his associates. Public advocacy performed through televised spectacle. And all this talk of being tough on crime, but only for other people. And that's why the record Giuliani's been invoking for his rise rings so hollow to so many today.
It's not enough for our leaders to follow the law. They must set an example for others to follow.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.